Today is Wednesday, February the 25th, 2026. While the 98% are staring at NVIDIA, Peter Schiff, Rick Rule, and Mike Maloney are watching a 6% explosion in platinum. If you feel a strange sense of quiet in the markets today, you're not alone. The big money is paralyzed. They're waiting for one company to tell them if the AI dream is still alive or if we're about to enter a winter unlike anything we've seen since 2008. But while the masses wait, the gurus of the precious metals world are screaming from the rooftops about a very different story. The rotation has begun. Today, as I record this, platinum is up 6%. Palladium is up 4.5%. This isn't a retail rally. This is institutional fear moving into industrial reality. Now, before we dive into why Rick Rule sold his silver to buy these metals, and why Peter Schiff is now calling $5,000 gold the new normal, I want to thank those of you who've shared our last few videos on WhatsApp and via SMS. Our analytics show that 50% of our external traffic is coming from dark social. Your personal messages to friends and family. That's how we grow the 2% Club. Thank you for being an ambassador for common sense. Now let's get into the intelligence. We have a trifecta of warnings from the men who have spent decades predicting this exact moment. We'll start with the safe haven king, Peter Schiff. In the last 48 hours, Peter's been incredibly vocal about what he calls the coordinated raid on gold and silver earlier this week. He argues that the sudden dip we saw in gold was a desperate attempt by the administration to hide the warning signals of sovereign debt crisis. When gold hits record highs, it's a fever thermometer for the dollar. And right now, the dollar is running a very high temperature. Peter's verdict? Gold at $5,175 isn't a peak. It's the floor. He believes we're heading to $6,000 and beyond because the Fed has officially lost control of the bond market. But it's not just about gold. Mike Maloney has just released a briefing that should make every silver holder sit up and take notice. While the New York COMEX is quoted at around $88, the Shanghai Futures Exchange reopened today and silver immediately surged to $102. That's a $14 premium. Think about that. If you're in the 98%, you're looking at the New York price and thinking silver is flat. If you're in the 2%, you realize that the physical metal is being vacuumed out of the West and into the East at a double-digit premium. Mike is calling this the silver wake-up. And he's tracking a 47% collapse in COMEX registered inventory in just the last 4 months. And then we have Rick Rule. Rick is the most disciplined of the three, and his latest move has shocked some in the silver community. Rick recently confirmed he sold 80% of his physical silver position. Now, before you panic, you have to understand the 2% mindset. Rick didn't sell because he hates silver. He sold because it moved from being hated to being loved. He is rotating that capital into what is currently hated: platinum, palladium, and high-quality mining equities. Rick is looking at the 727,000-ounce structural deficit in platinum for 2026. He realizes that while the world wants AI chips, you cannot run a global hybrid vehicle fleet or a high-end circuit board without these platinum group metals. I've had many of you ask why these reports don't come out faster. The reality of YouTube is that it takes time to produce these videos. This is why, and I've mentioned it before, I'm launching the 2% Club newsletter blueprint. We'll have a free tier, but for those of you who want the deep dive intelligence the moment I see it, like today's platinum spike, we have the 2% Inner Circle brief. We're offering a charter member pricing strategy for our early birds. $0 for the free tier, obviously, and $9.97 a month for the paid tier. This will help us reach more people and prevent them from making the catastrophic mistakes the 98% are about to make. I plan to launch this on the 1st of March and will be producing a video specifically on that subject. Let's look at the maths that a member of our community recently mentioned. He said AI is creating plenty of supply, but people with no money do not create demand. This is the financial cul-de-sac. If NVIDIA's earnings tonight show that the only people buying chips are other tech companies and not the actual economy, the bubble pops. Schiff, Rule and Maloney all agree on one thing. You cannot print your way out of a productivity collapse. When the 98% realize that their tech stocks are just pieces of paper in a failing system, where do you think they will run? They'll run to the assets that have been money for 5,000 years. You see, the 98% are waiting for a return to normal. They think interest rates will go back to zero and NVIDIA will go to the moon forever. The 2% understand that normal is gone. We're in a structural repricing of reality. When Peter Schiff says $5,000 gold is the new normal, he isn't being a gold bug this time. He's being a mathematician, and this time his timing might very well be right. The interest on the US national debt is now running at an annualized rate of over $1.5 trillion. We're spending more on interest than on our military. The math is broken. Mike Maloney's data on the gold to silver ratio is even more startling. Even with silver at $88 in the West, the ratio is still historically distorted. If we saw a return to the historical mean, silver shouldn't be $88 or even $102. It should be in triple digits, and eventually, potentially $200 or $300 an ounce, though that's just a little bit too far for me at the moment. This is why Maloney says do not wait. He believes the physical split between Shanghai and New York is the beginning of the end for the paper manipulation. When the COMEX finally says we have no more metal to deliver, the price won't go up 5%, it will gape up by 50% overnight. Now I want to be clear, I'm not giving you financial advice, I'm an ambassador for the 2% Club. My mission is to help you avoid the mistakes that wipe out generations of wealth. The 98% panic when they see a 2% dip in silver, the 2% look at that dip and see an opportunity to move from paper into physical. We remain calm when others panic because we've already positioned ourselves for the outcome. Now, Rick Rule's focus on platinum and palladium today is a masterclass in contrarian investing. Though, I hate to say this, I did mention it a couple of weeks ago. For 2 years, these metals were the black sheep of the family. They were down 50% while gold was hitting records. But as Rick says, bear markets are the authors of bull markets. The low prices led to mine closures in South Africa and Russia. Now, supply is falling just as the world realizes that electric vehicles aren't taking over as fast as the politicians hoped. Hybrid cars need more platinum and palladium than traditional petrol cars. The supply-demand squeeze is here, and today's 6.2% jump in platinum is just the opening bell. Now, if you're finding value in the breakdown, please take a second to hit the subscribe button. It tells the YouTube algorithm there is a demand for common sense. And more importantly, if you have a friend who is currently all in on tech stocks and ignoring the metals, send them this video on WhatsApp. Tell them it's from an honest ambassador who cares. We need to wake up as many people as possible before the NVIDIA shock turns into a systemic freeze. Now, what should you do tonight when the NVIDIA numbers drop? If the numbers are perfect and the stock goes up, the 98% will cheer. But look at the bond yields. Look at the price of gold. If gold stays above $5,180 while tech is rallying, it means the smart money is using the tech rally as a liquidity event to exit. They're selling their chips to the 98% so they can buy the 2% assets. This is the great rotation that Rick Rule is currently executing. He isn't waiting for the crash. He's preparing for it by taking profits in what is expensive and buying what is cheap. Remember what Mike Maloney said, the greatest wealth transfer in history is happening right now. It's a transfer from those who hold paper promises to those who hold physical reality. When you look at the 47% drop in silver inventory, you're looking at the drainage of the old system. The West is being hollowed out and the East is hoarding the wealth. Being in the 2% club means recognizing this shift before the exit doors are locked. And as we look towards the end of the week, keep your eyes on the gold to silver ratio and the PGM prices. If platinum holds these gains, it's a signal that the inflation trade is turning into a scarcity trade. We're moving from a world of too much money to a world of too little stuff. Peter Schiff's warning about empty shelves and high unemployment is the dark side of this transition. If the AI revolution doesn't deliver the productivity it promised, we're left with a debt and no way to pay for it. That is why the gurus are so defensive right now. I have been watching these markets for decades and I've never seen a setup quite like this. We have the highest debt in history, the highest concentration in a few tech stocks in history, and some of the lowest physical metal inventories in history. It's a tinderbox. Peter Schiff isn't just shouting into the wind anymore. He's pointing at the smoke. Mike Maloney isn't just talking about history. He's watching it repeat in the Shanghai premiums. And Rick Rule isn't just managing money, he's protecting it. So in conclusion, the message from the big three is clear. Schiff says the dollar is dying, buy gold. Maloney says the physical supply is vanishing, buy silver. Rule says follow the value, buy the unloved industrial metals and the miners. They might disagree on the timing, but they all agree on the destination. We are heading into a period of extreme volatility where common sense will be your most valuable asset. The 98% will be blinded by the glare of their computer screens tonight watching NVIDIA's ticker. The 2% will be watching the quiet strength of the metals, knowing that when the screen goes dark, the metal will still be there. To catch up with my early warnings on these issues, look at the videos on your screen right now. Please watch them if you haven't already done so. Thank you for watching and joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you soon.